I know it's easy to believe we are failures when the expectations of the outside world heavily revolve around how much we contribute to society. Productivity culture tells us that we have to be constantly consuming or producing something, and if not, what are we doing? They say that if you take your time, you lose the opportunity. If you take a break, somebody else will take your place. If you're not part of the 5 a.m. club, you're lazy. And if you go to bed before 10 p.m., you're boomer. We must function as some flawless artificial intelligence, but with this organic bodies, we end up turning into zombies. Discipline is supposed to provide you freedom and not to make you feel exhausted. Just because something is not an utility, it doesn't mean it's not useful. We have been taught to be in constant movement. Most of us believe that we will receive as much as we work for. And if that's the case, why things seem to happen only when you give up on wanting them? Why the person you like only likes you back when you get over them? Why the more you sleep, the more tired you get? And even working the whole week, you're still not a millionaire. Because that's not how physics work in nature. And I'm sorry to say that, but like it or not, you are part of nature, and things seem slower because you are in constant movement. Well, at least that's what my kindergarten friend Albert Einstein used to say. He stated that time appears to move slower for an object in motion relative to a stationary observer. So, let me ask you, are you ready to level up to the 6th layer of consciousness? Welcome, space-time travelers, to my personal database. I am the Time Bender, and here in this channel we are using alchemy, psychology, quantum information theory to lower the density of our energy so we can experience a life free of worry, doubt, and fear. In the 4th first levels, ruled by the water element, we are creating a structure. First, we only exist. Then we can differentiate what we are from what we are not. We realize we are inserted somewhere, and then we are aware of the passage of time. Basically, after that, we are entering the fire element, which means we are breaking down the structure to reformulate our perspective. So in the 5th level, we understand that linear time is just an illusion. And now, in the 6th level, we will see that what we know about space is also an illusion. Everything is a lie. And I like to call the field in which we exist as the wave-filled void. According to Einstein, space is not just a fixed, empty backdrop for objects to exist and move in. Instead, space is a dynamic, flexible entity that can be affected by matter and energy. Einstein proposed that space and time are intertwined and form a 4-dimensional fabric known as space-time. This fabric can be curved or distorted by the presence of mass and energy, meaning that massive objects like planets or stars can warp the fabric of space-time, causing it to curve around them. This curvature of space-time influences the motion of objects within it, including the trajectory of light. The presence of mass and energy determines the geometry of space-time, leading to the phenomenon we experience as gravity. But, as I've said before, the layers of consciousness are not physical spaces. So the wave-filled void is not somewhere your body is, but it's everywhere you can visit using your mind. In the past video, we talked about the holographic field and how we predict the future, capturing information that's encoded in the 2-dimensional boundary of our universal bubble. However, what I haven't mentioned before was how we can do that. Let's recap a few concepts real quick. For anything to happen, there must be a consciousness who experiences the event. We experience the order of events within our consciousness, which means individually, reality will look different for each one of us. Everything that happens outside of us happens within our consciousness, because that's how we experience events in the first place. If you were an insect, for example, how would you differentiate what's happening for you from what's happening to you? What's happening outside of you from what's happening inside of you? They don't experience events the same way we do, because their consciousness cannot filter and translate information outside of their instinctual nature. They are trapped in a 1-dimensional consciousness. Because to translate this type of information, you need to have a very well-developed subconscious mind. Therefore, collectively, we reach the 6th level of consciousness when we realize the importance of our dream state. We start trying to understand and influence the projections of our subconscious and unconscious mind to distinguish what we consider real or not. Carl Jung believed that dreams could help us understand ourselves better because they are a way for our unconscious mind to communicate with our conscious mind. He was also very interested in lucid dreaming, which is the type of dream where you know you are dreaming and can sometimes control what happens in the dream. Jung called this active imagination and believed it could help us gain insight into our own thoughts and emotions. If the reality of an individual is based on what they experience as truth, for something to be real, it needs to be recognized by the consciousness of the individual as part of reality. If our dreams are projections created by our minds, they are real experiences that are not directly related to our physical world, unless you don't believe they're relevant to your personal experience. Then they're not real. Which means that, individually, we reach the sixth level when we are aware that what we perceive as a real experience is constantly being filtered by our conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. Our unconscious will pick up the information first, the information encoded in space-time. Our subconscious will then translate it for us, and our conscious mind will interpret this information. Like when the person next to you starts singing the same song you were thinking about, and you automatically assume they are your soulmate. Or when you discover a new word, suddenly you start seeing that word everywhere, and you assume that's a sign. Because our reality is based on what we experience as truth. So if you think that word is a sign, then it is a sign. If you think they are your soulmate, you will start treating them as such. We experience reality within the wave-filled void. Okay, but what this has to do with productivity culture and what I was talking about before? Well, to better understand this concept and advance to the sixth level, we need to go through the second classical chemical stage, dissolution. Dissolution is the alchemical stage where we break all the artificial structure of psyche by total immersion in the subconscious. Just like when you throw an aspirin in a glass of water, it will be easier to ingest and digest because it makes it more malleable. This stage is represented by the sacral chakra, the one responsible for our sexual energy, the source of creation, of manifesting in a physical reality, something that comes from within you, literally. Your subconscious mind will work on what has been trained for, leaving then space for your conscious mind to be aware of your surroundings with less effort. Training is always realized by repetition. That's how it works when you're learning a new language, practicing sports, cooking, or any other skill. You feed your subconscious by repeating tasks or ideas you want to be stuck with you. That's the premise of subliminal audios, for example. They are repeating affirmations so your subconscious can record them and repeat it back and forth to your mind without you even noticing. Like 4 plus 4 equals 8, with sugar we make cake, and don't compare yourself to others because social media is fake. You learned again! If you're playing Minecraft, for example, you're not going to keep on your hotbar something that you use sporadically. You're going to have tools and weapons that optimize your gameplay. That's your subconscious. If you want to get something more specific, think about an idea and take proper action. You will most likely access your whole inventory, or if needed, look for the item in the chest you keep in your house. Whatever. Creation itself is effortless. The generation tool that exists within us as humans is in a hotbar. What requires special attention is deciding what is worth generating and what is best in a dematerialized state. For example, if you see someone wearing an outfit that doesn't resonate with who you are, do you choose to say,
"That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen"?
Or do you choose to appreciate the loyalty they have for their self-expression? Your opinion is formed in a matter of seconds. And even though the Good Samaritans say we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, our ability to distinguish a beneficial situation from a dangerous one is a valuable, primitive skill. The problem here is that if you judge someone harshly without enough context, it's obvious to me you haven't been nurturing your subconscious mind. Instead, you've been degrading it. And I can even say you've been overly critical about your personal behavior and choices throughout your whole life. We must train our subconscious to nurture whatever we focus our attention on instead of degrading it, because this will directly influence how we talk to ourselves at a subconscious level. If your subconscious pattern degrades whatever you focus your attention on, rather than nurturing it, you may unknowingly sabotage everything you want to create. The distance between your imagination and your reality is measured by you. In a couple of years, a lot of the work now done by humans will be replaced by machines, as we have seen before and as we will continue to see. Can you tell me something that a computer can never do? Time on a screen. The characteristic that we hesitate the most is what makes humans so unique. Relatability. It will be difficult to replace professions where relatability is an important factor because even if an AI tries to emulate this trait in regards to humans, they lack inherent humanity, which could lead to a great collapse in the system. Not their system, our system. So why are we trying so hard to deny our intrinsic treasure? Why are we making extreme effort to work as a machine if in the perfection of nature we have been created to feel and process emotions? Our greatest superpower is the ability to understand our own feelings and express them in such creative ways that other human beings can feel comforted by whatever we have been going through, so they can know they're not alone, so they can relate. Our subconscious mind is responsible for processing our emotions, but emotions are difficult to process as they involve complex information. Not even our futuristic technology can understand a broken heart. Our elders cannot explain the secret for happiness. Our philosophers will be forever discussing what is the meaning of life, all because a piece of information related to an emotion is never objective. Our subconscious mind had to find ways to decrypt the message hidden in something we feel and translate it to a symbol we understand. If we want to drink water in the middle of the night, we will dream with something that makes us thirsty. If we feel like someone is treating us unfairly, we will dream with something that makes us feel powerless. The problem here is that not all symbols will mean the same thing for everyone. For example, if both of us dream with a duck that barks, for you, this could mean you always wanted a duck as a pet. But for me, this can mean I am afraid of ducks. I'm not afraid of ducks, but you know what I'm saying. If you think your dreams are just too crazy and it couldn't possibly mean anything, that's because you don't know the language your mind speaks. It's like dreaming about numbers, but you don't know how to count.
I am not really a math guy, you know.
This usually happens when we don't want to acknowledge how we are actually feeling about something. We choose to be oblivious to what we are telling ourselves on a deeper level because it is very often painful to admit what you're feeling. Therefore, the deeper the emotion, the more hidden it is from your conscious mind, and the more abstract and confusing your dreams will be. But it can be very liberating once you start to understand yourself and recognizing your own red flag. This is where the deep shadow work begins. But dreams are tricky. They're never literal. They never mean what they portray to be. So if you dream with pregnancy, it doesn't mean you're pregnant. If you dream with a car accident, it doesn't mean you're gonna die. Each individual will process their emotions in a different way, and the information encoded in these emotions will be translated into symbols that only they can understand. You need to be fluent in your subconscious language. Some exercises that can help you with this are journaling, meditation, hypnotherapy, and of course, my favorite one, the silence hour, where I like to wake up before sunrise and, as the name suggests, spend a whole hour in silence. No music, no talking to anyone, not even talking to myself or my ghost friends, just existing. You need to understand that nothing works in exclusivity, and events don't happen isolated. All the results come from processes, and processes are made of stages and steps. A diamond is nothing more than carbon that went through a massive amount of pressure, but pressure is not related to effort, only layers and layers of consistency. This type of consistency requires commitment and patience, things that not a lot of people are willing to undertake. As a result, they keep ignoring the subconscious and focusing only on the physical world instead of co-creating their reality with parts of themselves that they have yet to understand. You may not be the brilliant gem you thought you would be at this age, but you are a work in progress. Don't judge yourself so harshly for thinking you're not doing enough. Don't put yourself in this box where your value is directly related to what you produce. Allow yourself to grow. You deserve it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you find the peace you seek.